Good afternoon, Chad. How's it going today?
Good. How are you doing, Paul?
I am doing very well, thanks. So it's been a couple of weeks since we met last. How has the last couple of weeks been for you guys?
It's been amazing. I feel like the last couple weeks have been it's like the aha moment has started to finally filter through, right?
Right.
A lot of
Love it.
data input the last couple weeks, and now I'm starting to see the outputs that it's showing.
The
So it's been
ROI
great.
on your time investment.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. And what does that look like? What are some of the things you've been getting return on?
Um, So, right now last time we talked was a little bit about queries, right? So I've
Yep.
been getting information out of those queries, just from a production standpoint, right? The
Sure.
visibility of what's being ran, the schedule of, customers calling up and saying, hey, where's my job at, right? I can immediately go to the schedule and say, oh, well, it's not set up yet, but according to our schedule, should be getting set up next week or whenever
Sure.
that day is.
Yep.
Before we never had that visibility, so
Got it.
it's been awesome. It's been very very rewarding.
Very cool. That's neat. Um, and I mean, I guess we're kind of getting close. We probably only have one or two more of these, I'm guessing, before you're live and just kind of off on your own into the wild.
Yep.
What are some of the things that looking back, you feel like the process, how it went, and if you could talk to yourself at the beginning, what you might say?
How much time you got?
At least half an hour.
Okay, great. um, yeah, so a lot of things, right? I went through earlier today and came up with a little list of some things, that I can definitely do different. Um, Off the top, some of the things that we've hit in the past, right? When you're first starting off and you're running parallel systems, right? Right now we're running um, ProShop, and then our old system was QuickBooks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you're running parallel, to write down your ProShop work order number on the older systems traveler,
Yep.
um,
Sure.
that helped us out quite a bit getting started. Because we had some guys that were up and trained on ProShop and were using ProShop, and then there were other guys that weren't and still
Mm-hmm.
had training or still needed help.
Got it.
So at the end of the day, we still need to get work out the door,
Of course.
and that was something that helped us out.
Yeah.
Um,
Simple step.
yep. Um, you know, I wish, again, we talked about it before. I wish I would have used the process development page on the tip work order to consolidate everyone's questions sooner.
Oh yes.
We've
Yep.
been using that with the check-ins that we have with Robert,
Yep.
and it's great, right? I mean, especially not only for me, but for everyone on the shop floor, for all my team leads. If they've got something, right, they're immediately writing it down. It's staying in one place, not and so that's been great.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah, that's a great one.
you can never have my third item here is you can never have too many people join the implementation calls.
Oh yeah, sure.
so
How many were you having join? Was it mostly yourself in most of
so
them,
it
or?
started off with me and uh, another guy are the Pro Shop champions, Matt.
Okay.
So it started off with just us, right? And it was great, and I enjoyed, certainly have more than one person in your shop,
Mm-hmm.
be a Pro Shop champion.
Got it.
Highly recommend that. But I feel like the modules that we covered where we had more people in there,
Yep.
it certainly helped retain the knowledge that Robert was giving us.
Yep.
If I forgot one little tidbit, certainly there was three or four or five other people that remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that helped us out quite a bit. Um, After implementation, I recommend having your team leads teach their people.
That's such a good idea.
Certainly the best way to learn is to teach, right?
Yeah,
Robert
for
hit
sure.
that home for us, and it certainly is the truth.
Yeah.
You know, don't let your ProShop champions do all the teaching, right? So for us here, you know, we have our ProShop champions or Robert have taught our leads,
Yep.
and then in turn our leads are teaching the shop floor people. So we have those guys come in at least once a week now
Okay.
with their department and teach them, right? And
Sure.
everybody's process is a little bit different, you know. But with that being said, right, like there's been a lot of times where we have taught a lesson and we certainly have failed.
Yeah.
You know, getting
I
across
mean,
what we
just
want to get across, right?
for
You know,
for that lead person to train their team.
yep,
Like,
yep,
okay,
yep.
but it's a learning
And
process, right?
it's a learning process, and that's okay, right? Like
Right.
there's going to be certain things that you want to cover, and not everybody's going to grasp it, and that's okay, right? Like that just means you need to slow down, you know, and spend some time on that particular topic.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
what else do we have here? Every one of my leads yeah, we talked about that. So yeah, right now we spend anywhere from 2.5% to 5% of their work week getting trained on ProShop right now.
Nice.
I feel like that's something that, you know, we're going to be continuing for the next 6 months or so.
Yep.
It just reiterates, you know, from management perspective, right? Like this is a big deal. This is important. And then also make sure that, you know, that we're not leaving them behind, right? That if they have a question, you know, we're right there next to them, right? We've got 2 people here that, you know, English is not their first language, right?
Right. Sure.
And letting them know that, right? That we're going to be right there with you, you know, to help you log in, time track, you know, do your bomb management, wherever you need, right? Like eventually you're going to get it, right? And so we spend a lot of time on a weekly basis training our guys. So this is something that you can't just do, you know, for 2 weeks and then think everybody's going to get it, right? It's
sure. Yeah. No, that's great to have their back like that.
Yep. Webinars. The ProShop webinars that you guys have are amazing, right?
Oh, nice.
So we use these on a weekly basis, right? So in fact, we just used it today. So we're at a point now where we are going over our pre-process checks and wanting to edit those to fit our needs. So, you know, about 2 hours ago, we had shop leads in there, and we all watched the webinar on how to edit the pre-process checks and give it a little background on what they do. So it was actually funny that was when we were watching it, that it was like right when COVID hit. So you guys were just adjusting to life outside, to working remotely.
Yeah, we've been doing those for a while now. It has been. That's funny.
So yeah, you know, just everything that you need to know after, you know, the implementation is done, is in those videos, right, to get you up and going. And those have been a big crutch for me and for my guys on the shop. So highly recommend those.
Awesome.
And that, you know, even as a ProShop champion, it doesn't hurt to rewatch these videos when doing your training, right? I even like the very first one where it was about time tracking and logging in and out, right? I'm like, oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And even sometimes rewatching your own training sessions where Robert was training you guys.
Sure.
Right? I know clients have done that again, you know, or with new hires, they have them watch some of their specific training videos. Since those are all recorded.
The other thing that I've learned is that it's best practice to adjust your process to the ProShop process. don't do it the other way around, or you're going to get you're going to create some sticking points and back yourself into a corner. So
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I know we've had a number of clients that try to work around the system, and then and I
Yep.
think it's often because they don't quite grasp the how we're solving the problem in a different way, but the ultimate solution is very often more effective and more efficient and less time.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah,
Um, so yeah, I definitely recommend that. For I wanted to highlight, for the people, you're always going to have somebody that struggles with getting it, grasping it, understanding it, right?
sure.
Um, just that's okay, and let them know that you'll be right there next to them, until every morning until they get it right. I think we just hit on that.
Fantastic.
For us, BOM management continues to be a sticking point that we're still working through.
Okay.
So, you're, we still struggle with that a little bit.
Just pulling the proper amount of material, or
Yeah, just doing the fully manage the BOM.
okay.
You know, I would say, majority of us understand it, but there's still a few that,
Right.
struggle with it. So that's what we're hitting on right now is this week and next week is in our trainings is getting them to understand that.
It's interesting you say that. And it sounds like you're having many different people do that.
Yeah.
So I just got off another one of these with a different customer. And it sounded like, just from the way she was talking about it, that they only have really one or two people manage bombs.
Really?
Yep. So that's in the sort of planning, scheduling kind of, shop administration process. They're doing that at the beginning. And then the machinists will go right to the bomb for their job if they're pulling their own material. And it'll tell them exactly, which material to go pull, but they don't need to then manage it themselves. They know exactly the lot that they need to grab to maintain traceability.
Sure.
So, I don't know what's different about your workflow and having many people do that versus only one or two, but it's worth maybe talking to Robert about it, and I could even put you in contact with this other client.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah, for us, we buy in and we bring in, mill quantities. So,
Sure.
we may bring in 2,000 sticks of 1/2 inch round, but we're only using, 150 of those sticks for a particular job.
Yep.
So I've been trying to train my guys to manage that themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're getting through it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that they're already doing. The funny thing is they're already doing it, right? They're
They're the
already
ones
counting the number of
deciding.
bars,
They're the ones deciding
right?
which material to
Yep,
pull.
they're
Yeah.
already going to the shelf and saying, I know that I need, for this job, 25 bars, right?
Right.
It's just that extra step in hey, you don't have to remember it in your head anymore.
Got it.
You can
Yes.
actually go to the computer and just log it that, you pulled
Yep.
25 bars. So, I feel right now we're just now getting into starting to get in the weeds of, this amazing ERP system, with all the queries and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I'm the last 2 weeks since we talked, I started to see the fruits of our labor starting to pay off. So, it's been great.
Awesome. And how are you? Have you hired anyone new since you've been doing this process?
We have, yeah. So everybody on the shop floor is all trained up, and then we brought in another CNC machinist last week.
Okay.
And he is, I think he's going to be finishing up his, training,
Yep.
getting himself going on work orders and such this week. So
I'm curious with just general employee onboarding, as you've done for the last few years. Do you have a well-defined process that you put an employee through for safety training or HR training and forms and all the things?
Yes, from a HR standpoint, 100%, right?
Right.
Going through marking all those boxes,
Yep.
what we do, but you know, right now it's one person that does that, you know. I don't even ask me what those steps are, right?
Okay. So, right.
So,
Right.
so yeah, I would say there's nothing that's she's been doing it for 27 years or something like that, right? So
Okay.
she just knows it, right? And
Sure.
so I don't know if we actually have anything documented. I'm sure she does, but
Yeah, but it's a little bit, maybe it's not as published as a standard
sure.
process.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
you know, since you're mentioning that, I was just pulling up, it was funny timing. I was at a customer last week, maybe it was the week before last. No, I think it was last week, where we were shooting a video and they mentioned that when they onboard a new employee, they actually issue them a training work order in ProShop. And
Really?
I'm like, what does that look like? So he shared the template that they use, and I just pulled it up here. And let me share this. I'm going to share my screen here for a second. Screen one. And actually, I very easily can send you this. So basically, it's an employee training part number, right? So it's in the part module. So, you know, some of these fields are kind of superfluous, right? We call it Rev A. But here in the operation table, you can see what they built, filling in their employment forms, their employment policies, doing safety training, ProShop training. And it's not just this list. If we dig into the operations here, they were using some of those ProShop components to, in this case, provide them with the direct links to how to train in ProShop, how to do things in ProShop. And one thing that I would actually do to improve on this even a little bit more is to take these videos and link them into the part check information, right? Used for inspection. And we've done that here, like on the, like you're like you have a tip work order that probably looks something like this,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I can't remember if I've shared this on our videos, but right, if we go into one of these operations, we can pull up our first article form and it shows you all the sort of go, no go, checkpoints of what you've learned. And I'm sure you've been filling these out as you've gone.
Yes.
But, sometimes we'll link a video right into one of these operations. And so people can sign off individually that they've watched those videos, which your new employees could do as they fill out forms or watch videos or learn a topic. And the cool part about doing this is as you sign those off, and as I'm sure you know, if you then sign off your first article complete, and again, we're using that term liberally here, it won't turn green unless everything inside of that operation is signed off and good. So, replicating that, with a training work order over here, I think we'll just make it, super simple. So you could, just come here, issue a new work order right on the fly. Maybe your new guy is Bob. You could put economy of 1, and we'll just go ahead and submit that, and then we'll finalize this. And of course, you could use multiple routings, right? So you could have a routing sequence for machinists. You could have a routing sequence for inspectors or office staff.
Yep.
That maybe got slightly different training.
Yep.
Where the common things like the HR forms, that will be common to everybody, but then different operations might be slightly different. So, here's the work order, right? We can click to send a system message to Bob and say, here, please work through this work order. And not only is he getting trained on your company, but he's also just getting familiar with how to click through and do ProShop.
Sure.
Right at the same time. So yeah, I just think it was a super creative use of the system. And yeah.
How can I get my hands on that?
Well, hold on a second. Let me share that. So we actually use JSON files to transfer. So I can download it right here. And let me open up an email. You're already in my so Chad. Yeah, there you are in my address book. And there, I just sent it to you. And then, yeah, I do. Yeah, let's take a, if you can pull it up and just see how that works.
So hang on here. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
All right. You see it?
There's the ski hill. Yes.
Yep.
That's a nice looking mountain, actually.
It is. That's Big Sky.
It's
So
beautiful.
I'll actually be there in about 2 weeks. I can't wait.
Awesome. Oh, that's not your local ski ditch.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay. All right, that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
All right, so here's the recording that I got, or the file that you
Yep.
sent me.
Yes.
So if I go here, walk me through here, what I got to do.
So let's see here. There's a unique URL that maybe we'll pause this video to bring it up and show you.
Submit.
Yep. Type yes.
Yes.
And then hit submit. There we go.
There.
That looks different. Now click on the link at the bottom. There you go. So now that's in your system.
Awesome.
So you can tweak it as you like, make changes to it, add operations, add routings.
Yep.
And then just, yeah, issue a work order. I'd say put your employee's name. You know, you could even include, you could even change the work order number to be, 23-Bob if you wanted to. So, but at the very least, use some of the other fields to designate it as Bob's, and yeah, just issue one for each client, each employee. And then, as you evolve it over time, change the rev level. So, it's a new revision of your training process. And then make this a task too. Put it in ProShop that this is how you train employees and onboard employees. As you could even link it to this record, this template. And then once they've done that, you can sign them off that they've gone through your onboarding process.
I feel like it'd be great just to get people trained up, right? For the, now that we just got done with the implementation process, right? How can we use this to, we know exactly where everybody stands, right? Because not everybody goes at the same pace, right?
Yep.
And we're, now that I'm talking through this, we're assuming that, everybody's going at the same pace, and we're going over the same, going through work orders, and as if they already understand the parts, and
got it. Yep.
So it would allow us to kind of get a overview as to where everybody is, and help cue in to where we, those that need a little extra help. So
yeah.
So I love it. Awesome.
Very cool. Well, Chad, this has been super fun, and glad we were able to help you out with something. I just love, the fact that I was at another customer last week and he told me about this then, and now I share it with you, and just kind of help rise the tide that lifts all those boats. So
Thank you.
It. All right. Very good, my friend. We'll talk to you again in another couple of weeks, probably.
Yep, will do.
All right. Take care, Chad. Bye.
Take care, Paul.